it makes you think of, where would I be if, if this was my child? Just the empathy that rolls through our services.
Hearts are heavy this morning as Washington declares the first death related to this year's wildfires. Today, parents are fighting for their lives after losing their young son.
We want to help these families who have nothing except the socks they're wearing.
Governor Inslee will travel to Malden today to speak on the assistance he's trying to give families who have lost their homes to wildfires.
And air quality right now is in the moderate range. We're talking about winds and how they can shift this weekend for a very hazy time.
6 a.m. now on our Thursday morning. Well, Washington wildfires are taking a deadly turn. A toddler is dead, and his parents are in intensive care this morning after trying to outrun the flames. Thanks so much for being with us here on Up with KREM. I'm Jen York.
And I'm Joshua Robinson, and this morning we will continue our latest wildfire coverage as the inland Northwest is now under a state of emergency from the fast-growing fires that started earlier this week.
But first, a couple is in intensive care this morning suffering severe burns outrunning the Cold Springs and Pearl Hill fires. Yesterday, authorities found 31-year-old Jacob Highland and 26-year-old Jamie Highland on the banks of the Columbia River near Bridgeport. They laid there for days, severely injured. Now, the little boy they were with here did not survive. Now, they were visiting Okanogan County from the west side, and authorities say the wildfire caught up to the family as they tried to escape. Medics airlifted the parents to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle yesterday, and family members say Jake suffered burns to 15% of his body, and he will need surgery on his arms. Jamie suffered burns up to 40% of her body, mostly to her upper body. This morning, both are in critical condition. And this morning, investigators are also ruling the baby's death a homicide in the event that this fire is man-made.
If it's a human-caused fire, that goes into criminal charges for the death investigation as well. This child would not be dead without this fire beginning.
Now, we do expect more updates today on the conditions of the parents. Of course, we'll keep you updated here on Up with KREM and on KREM.com. Meanwhile, that same fire, the Cold Spring and Pearl Hill fires, are displacing hundreds of people. This is after the evacuation of Bridgeport and Mansfield.
Yeah, people across the community now helping their neighbors to the south as families in Okanogan County have sought refuge in places like Brewster Middle School. KREM 2 was able to talk to some of the people who were helping out there, and while firefighters do work to get all of the flames controlled, those schools in Brewster have turned into their own small town. Sandra Zamudio and her team of family and friends drove down to Brewster to get a place for plenty of donations.
We literally put ourselves in their situation, and without hesitation, we know that it's the right thing to do.
Volunteers are passing out blankets and food, any supplies that help evacuees get through this time of need. The group has also passed out more than 1,000 meals per day.
And even though it's Bridgeport that's really affected, we're still one. We are still one. These kids go to our schools, we see them in town daily, and there's no way that we can leave them by themselves without help.
Zamudio and her fellow volunteers say that the thank yous that they have been getting are more than enough to keep them going.
Just seeing the appreciation in their face and in their eyes, and when they tell us thank you, that's worth everything.
And of course, we will continue to bring you the latest updates on the fires across Okanogan County this morning, as well as throughout the rest of the Northwest, all throughout here on KREM 2 News, KREM.com, and our KREM 2 mobile app. Right now, donations can go a very, very long way. There's a lot of need for water and food, blankets, clothes, any monetary donations. And here at KREM 2, we are now partnering with the American Red Cross and STCU to help fire victims across our area. You can donate online to the Red Cross website. You can also donate to your local STCU drive-through. We've got the latest links and drive-through locations on our website. You can also text DONATE to 509-448-2000. We'll get you the information that you need.
6:04 now. Big story this morning. Governor Jay Inslee is set to tour wildfire damage today in eastern Washington. Now, he is expected to visit Malden and nearby Pine City. Now that is where we find Nicole Hernandez this morning with more on today's visit. Good morning, Nicole.
Yeah, good morning, Jen. So we now know that 223 buildings burned in that Babs fire earlier this week. That's according to DNR. And that basically left the towns of Pine City and Malden with nothing left. They're 80% completely gone now. So the community here now is working to rally together to help get everyone through this as a community. As of now, though, that Babs fire has burned almost 18,000 acres in total. That fire is still 0% contained. Like Jen mentioned, Governor Inslee is touring Malden today, which is mostly burned in that fire. He's planning on meeting with fire crews, law enforcement, and residents in the area. In a press conference on Tuesday, Inslee described the devastation in Malden as one of the state's most traumatic events.
In the last couple of days, we've had over 480,000 acres burned in the state of Washington. Put that in perspective, that's more than every other total year, with the exception of, I believe, 2015. This is an extraordinary series of events.
Inslee went on to talk about how the weather the past few days has really made fighting these fires hard for crews. He took to Twitter He took to Twitter that evening saying that he will be thinking about these wildfires in the state's fight against climate change. Now, Governor Inslee is planning to start that tour today at 11 a.m. Again, like I said, speaking to those first responders, residents in this area. And then after that tour, he'll be headed to Pullman to speak with WSU leaders about their COVID-19 outbreak. Live in Malden, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
All right, thank you so much, Nicole, for that update. We're waking up to the smell of wildfires and smoke in our area. Right now, the air quality is moderate, 60 air quality index. It could definitely move up to unhealthy for some groups. We might see this over the weekend as winds shift. Here's a look at the wildfires in our area, a map of exactly what our smoke is going to be doing. Definitely a chance for hazy skies, likely haze and smoke here in this area as well. So, whoops, I'm going to fall over. Like I said, the winds are expected to shift east to west, and that's why this weekend we're going to see a lot more smoke in our area. Current temperatures right now, it's a pretty mild morning, 55 degrees in Spokane, 41 in Sandpoint, 38 degrees in Libby, Montana. And so it's a pretty beautiful morning to get out there, drink your coffee. I just see the sunrise right over the horizon. It's supposed to fully rise at 6:21 this morning. Here's a look at your hour by hour forecast. A lot of sunshine to go around. It's going to be a mild, dry, clear day, but pretty warm. I mean, look at your highs, 87 degrees at 5 p.m. That is 12 degrees higher than the average for September 10th. So definitely a lot warmer. It's the second day into the heat wave that we're going to see. I'm going to give you the 7-day forecast that's going to show you 90s into the weekend. I'm going to break down exactly the winds and what to expect so you could plan your weekend if you are expecting to spend some time outside. This might be the last 90-degree temperatures we see of 2020. I'm expecting that, but of course anything can happen. I'll send it back to you.
Dana Marie, thank you so much. Well, we do want to take a look at wildfires burning right now across eastern Washington. Take a look at your screen if you're not near your TV. You can see there are a number of them. So we have some new information on the largest fires this morning. Starting with the Cold Springs fire, it is now 163,000 acres in size. It's burning near Omak. It is 10% contained. Leaders say several structures are lost, both homes and outbuildings. Right now, 275 firefighters are working to contain the spread. And nearby, west of Brewster, is the Pearl Hill fire. It is now 174,000 acres and 10% contained. Crews say flames destroyed roadways in the area and several bridges. Combined, the Cold Springs and Pearl Hill fires are burning 526 square miles.
The Whitney fire has grown to 100,000 acres as of this morning, and as of yesterday afternoon, fire officials say that it had only been 5% contained. The fire continues to burn in Lincoln County between Davenport and Creston to the north and Harrington and Odessa to the south. 3 homes have been destroyed. Level 3 and Level 2 evacuations remain throughout the county. We spoke with several families who say that they have been forced to spend yet another night away from home in Lincoln County.
It was pretty terrifying. We didn't know where to go. We just knew we had to go somewhere.
The Whitney fire first started on Monday when a tree struck a power line and sparked that fire.
It's coming up now on 6:10. New at 6, level 3 evacuations just expired for the Euclid track fire in Airway Heights. Earlier this week, it forced the evacuation of Northern Quest Resort and Casino. It has scorched about 260 acres so far and is 50% contained. Authorities say at least 6 structures are destroyed. Now, level 2 evacuations are still in place for the area between Spotted Road and Indian Bluff roads to the east, Newkirk Road to the north, Trails and Deno roads to the south, and Hayford Road to the west. Now, for more information on specific fires, including information about evacuation orders and emergency shelters, you can text wildfire to 509-448-2000 and we'll send you a link right to your phone.
6:10 now, time for your morning rush. More news in less time. New this morning, 2 archery hunters were attacked by a grizzly bear in North Idaho. Both hunters are reportedly okay, with one receiving stitches, according to Idaho Fish and Game. The hunter says that the bear attacked them yesterday north of Sandpoint, and after using bear spray to repel the animal, both men walked out of the backcountry on their own. Fish and Game officers are investigating that incident. A firefighter has suffered minor injuries while working on the Manning Road fire in Colfax. Authorities say crews were able to treat him on scene yesterday. He was then transported to a nearby hospital for immediate care. In Spokane, a Zoom meeting will be held today to discuss the effects of fluoride in Spokane's water. It'll be hosted by the citizens group Safe Water Spokane at 6 tonight. The meeting will include several people who say that they are against adding the chemical to the water. Spokane city leaders will also answer questions from the public during that meeting. Spokane Public Schools plans to distribute 5-day meal kits to families at 45 of their school sites starting next Monday. They are free for all children 18 years old or younger, and the plan is an extension of the USDA's free summer meals program. It'll last until the end of 2020. That's your morning rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media. Coming up this morning, the live-action film Mulan is getting plenty of attention since its release last week, and we're not talking about it in a good way. After the break, more on why the movie has Hong Kong protesters boycotting.
55 degrees right now, hazy skies. It's going to warm up to the upper 80s, even 90s in some areas. We're talking about air quality and how that can affect your weekend coming up.